Okay, Apple, you were the last to the game, and you're telling me what took so long was making emojis? All right, folks, we can be honest. Everybody was a little disappointed with what Apple had to announce in terms of AI, or what they're calling Apple Intelligence. But even though there are some really cool things that Apple is doing with artificial intelligence, here's why ultimately they let everyone down. Before we get started, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, click the bell so you don't miss as we cover all your favorite tech. I'm Chris Grant Jr. It's the Granite Geek Show. Now, before we get started, don't forget, guys, I got my new Granite Geek merch. You can check it out in the description section below. Some cool hoodies and accessories and things like that. Fun way to support the channel, but let's dive into it. All right, so Tim Cook sat down with Marquez Brownlee, aka MKBHD, to have a conversation about all of WWDC 24, really. But I want to focus in on something that he said regarding AI. He was asked about Apple's big response to AI, how people were waiting for them to do something with AI. And although they refused to say AI in particular, they talked about machine learning and those kinds of things, but never used the term AI. But now that they've called it Apple Intelligence, why was that? And what was their strategy throughout? And Tim Cook really gave an answer that revealed, I think, a misstep that Apple took when it came to rolling out what they were going to do with artificial intelligence. And in a way, Apple was right, okay? So he said, look, AI is not new, and that's something we all need to understand. AI is not new. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, he said everything from crash detection to slip and fall detection on things like your phone and your watch, that is AI, right? That's even the way you can crop out the subject in your photos now, that probably uses elements of AI as well. So Apple kind of has been doing it. They just didn't feel it was necessary to announce it. Tim also said, they focus on the feature. They want to show you the feature. They don't necessarily want to talk about the technology behind the feature. And I think this is core to what Apple does. It helps keep the kind of magic of what they do, is because they don't talk about the technology. They just say, look what your iPhone can do now. Okay, but here's where it ultimately kind of shot them in the foot. Apple has famously probably been the biggest company on the planet to be largely silent when it comes to generative AI. And what it does is Apple actually ended up saying something by not saying something. There was a whole lot of anticipation. People were waiting for Apple to do something massive with AI. Every time Apple's silent on something, Tim even said, we wait to do it the best. We don't worry about being first. But could you really look at Apple's offering with AI and say it's the best? Now, it is AI done the Apple way, integrated all throughout the operating system, not just in an app that you have to open, which is really cool. And the rollout was so bad, people were left wondering, okay, like I know that they talked about AI, but I couldn't really sum it all up in one or two sentences. I don't know who's dealing with their marketing, but Apple missed the opportunity of the decade to revamp Siri, maybe give Siri a whole new name that integrates AI. Listen, it's no secret that Siri has been falling behind other virtual assistants, including Alexa, right? So revamp it, infuse it with AI, make this big marketing push, okay? Have it integrate with the iOS system, as we all saw in WWDC, right? It can do all these things. And when it can't do something, it can even reach out to ChatGPT. How smart. That's so incredible. That's great. And Apple has the money to make the best AI in the world, to be honest. Mountains and mountains of cash. AI, whether it's in virtual headsets or handhelds or watches, it's going to be the future of technology. And with all the money they had, they should have had it where I could finally talk to Siri conversationally like a person, not like an assistant where it's like, hey, do this. Okay, working on it. Here's what I found. Would you like some other suggestions? You know what I mean? Like, I should have been able to choose the assistant's custom name, right? So I could say, yo, Siri, or whatever I wanted to call it, hey, iPhone, or whatever. And then it would say, okay, Chris, let me check on that for you. I'm having trouble connecting. Are you on Wi-Fi or cellular? I could respond to something like that. And then it'd be like, okay, you know what? I'm going to have to talk to ChatGPT about this. Do I have your permission? Right? And then I could verbally give confirmation or whatever. Or, hey, go get some movie tickets. And it could do those things. Do I have your confirmation? Do I have your permission? You can do all the security things, right? Even with biometrics, you might have to look at the phone. Like fully conversational with language learning models. I'm tired of Siri sounding like a machine. I mean, they literally have AI making songs now with artists that sounds so human. It sounds, full of emotion. But Siri, while the voices sound nice and human enough, It's not conversational. I'm not having a conversation with Siri. I'm waiting for a response or for my results. I don't even think it would take that much more computing power for it to just spit out some conversational phrases while it's working on what I asked it to do. Maybe it could ask some more contextual clarification questions as well while it's working on what I asked it to do. I feel like in one fell swoop, Apple would have been able to reclaim Siri as the superior intelligence and then make it also the superior artificial intelligence at the same time, because not only does it contextually understand you and your phone, as Apple loved to promote, but then it could reach out to things like ChatGPT and just be so smart. It would have, it would have blown Alexa out of the water. So here's the thing. The competition is still on, whether it's Amazon or Apple, what have you. Making a conversational AI that can work on things, change settings on your phone, all through verbal commands, act like a real person, get tickets, all the things that the assistant can do, but just with more of a human touch, powered by AI, able to ask contextual clarifying questions and things like that. I think that's what Apple dropped the ball on. Nobody's talking about it because people don't really understand it. And that's usually a sign of bad marketing. What would people say? Well, they announced Apple AI. But what is that? It's just an amalgamation of a bunch of AI features they were already doing inside the iPhone with a couple new generative apps. Like you can make emojis. Like, okay, Apple, you were the last to the game, the biggest company in the world in terms of tech. And you're telling me what took so long was making emojis? Yeah, I know that's an oversimplification, but at the end of the day, Apple really missed out on an opportunity to destroy their competition. They had loads of time, right? And Siri was the one who started it all off. There was no Alexa before Siri. There was no Bixby or whatever before Siri. And AI is the next step. So for Apple to miss that boat is really un-Appleistic of them. But anyway, of course, I want to know what you think. So let me know down in the comments below. As always, hit the like button, subscribe, and click the bell so you don't miss as we cover all tech. Don't forget, guys, I've got new merch. The Granite Geek merch is available for sale right now. It's a great way to support the channel, so I'll leave a link to that down in the description below. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. I'm Chris Grant Jr. It's the Granite Geek Show.